I think playlists are made for mood, and I think albums are really made for deeper listening.
Doing anything with intention feels so much better than just kind of being fed something from an algorithm.
I would be very proud if we at least grew a little community.
And maybe that no one cyberbullied us. That would also be a good goal to have. Hey, welcome. Today we want to give you a bit of an idea. Yeah, kind of how this thing got started, what our concept is, what visions we have, and also be prepared to get to know us a little bit better in the next introduction videos. So, Isa, do you remember when our conversations about albums and music got a little bit out of control?
Oh, yeah, immediately, I would say. I remember when we first matched on a Bumble for Friends app, we became friends, and I think the very first message you shoot me was, "What's your favorite albums?" And this hooked me so good because it's a rare question I was asked by my friends. Yeah, it got out of control a little bit after we had our first meetups, and music was always a topic. And I think, oh yeah, a few weeks later, you said, maybe we should set up a book club just for music. And it evolved naturally that it would be about albums. And because we both admire them a lot, and also musicians, they put a lot of effort into bringing up albums. But yeah, I think it get out of control very easily and very soon after we met first. And yeah, when did you realize this thing could actually become something?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even really remember how we came upon the idea of doing it as a podcast. I actually have no clue how that started. But I think I realized we were picking at momentum in terms that we were actually going to do this when I saw how passionate you were about the idea. I would say that you were really the driving force. It's your creative mind, it's your graphic designer mind that you started immediately thinking of branding and, the look and feel of things. And honestly, I just thought it was a really fun way to stay connected and build a relationship with a new friend. So I didn't really care which form it ended up taking. I just wanted to keep hanging out with you. And once I saw, how into it you were, I kind of got into it too. It was infectious and just kind of rolled on from there. And I don't know how we decided to do basically a year of practice before setting anything public, but it was also really fun to do that. I mean, I'm always going to cherish those conversations. And
Yeah,
yeah, that's something I'll always be grateful for.
yeah.
So, yeah,
Remember I remember when we first did a setup to record actually a
the
kind of
podcast
podcast
machine. I
in my
remember it.
kitchen, with the plants arranged in the
Yeah, and
background.
your
Yeah.
like backlights and everything of it. I think I still have a picture of it propped up on boxes and stuff so that we could both be seen. Yeah, our
Yeah.
first studio. What about you? Why was it important to you that we focus on albums as opposed to artists or specific songs?
Yeah, good question. This is the main question for this channel to become, yeah, pretty famous, hopefully.
Oh,
Yeah, it is. I think we are both agreed immediately on that albums tell a bigger story, and it's not just a moment like a single or a single song. And yeah, you can clearly understand an artist's vision, the concept of a song, of songs sticking together, and also an emotional journey has to take a little bit longer time than just one song.
uh-huh.
And yeah, also the order of tracks matters, as we discovered in our earlier sessions, and it creates a flow in a narrative. And this was very important. Some songs just make sense when you get them into a context of the full record. Yeah, we decided to go for albums because, yeah, I would say was always the album person or the artist person. I pick my listening journey to artists I want to hear or albums, specific albums, and I think you too. At some point, it's also important to stick to playlists when you're doing sports or having a good time with friends around you. And if I imagine having friends around just playing my favorite band, it would be totally
Disaster.
different mood. So I think playlists are made for mood, and I think albums are really made for deeper listening
Intentional
and
listening.
intentional listening, of course. Why do you think? Are people still able for intentional listening? What do you think?
Oh gosh, I think less. I think in general we don't consume anything as intentionally as we used to. I mean, I remember walking to the mall after school to buy the Killers CD Sawdust when it came out. I made a choice to spend my very limited allowance money or first job money on that and then listen to it. Whereas now I can, because I have the option to check out anything at all I want, it doesn't require an investment, you know? And I think anything we don't actually invest in automatically takes away its intentionality, unless we have an assignment, like with the album club. And I think it's more important than ever to do things with intention, especially in this age that we're living in when, it's just mindless reel scrolling. Doing anything with intention feels so much better than just kind of being fed something from an algorithm.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I actually do think it's extremely important. And even though I think people are doing it less, I would hope that that's a shift that we're going to see and people are going to crave that intention coming back. Um, yeah. So, what do you think? If someone listens to an episode for the first time, what happens? What can they expect?
Yeah, let's get into our concept of the Long Players Club. So, in the beginning of every episode, we will await you with a short brief of musical themes. So, what's the current song that are moving? What's news we read about the music scene that we are curious about? And what else is on our mind about our favorite artists, about artists we discovered? Just a quick update about what was going on the last weeks
Mhm.
beside the main content. Yeah, what we do next, Alison.
Ooh, what do we do next? We then talk about the albums that we recommended to each other. We listen to them in full beforehand, and usually we take a few weeks to listen to it, to let it sink in, to let it grow on us. And then in our call or when we have our recording, we talk about our first impressions, our emotions, any personal connections and stories that kind of came up listening to the songs. Our favorite song is then added to the Lone Players Club playlist. Take a chance and listen to it. And then how do we end each episode after each individual discussions about the albums?
Yeah, this is my favorite part, maybe. We end every episode with a question of the day, and these questions are leaning to music topics. For example, what's your favorite breakup song, or which song do you have to play loud? Yeah, these are curious
Mhm.
questions, open questions we are answering. You can also think about this topic and discuss with us and give your opinion in the comments below. And yeah, this is the regular episode we do maybe every month when it shows
Hopefully.
up,
Hopefully
hopefully.
every month at least. Yeah.
But we are also planning something special. We thought about
Mhm.
special episodes. Can you explain this to us?
Yeah. So we thought, it's going to get boring if you're just listening to us talk the whole time. So for some special episodes, we planned some guest spots, and those guests can be friends that we know, people with exciting or interesting music stories, perhaps someone is an artist themselves or is in a band. Maybe it's just someone that we are heavily influenced by, and why is that? And yeah, I mean, who knows? Sky's the limit as this thing maybe gains a bit more traction. Maybe we can get some, more well-known faces, but no expectations at this point. Yeah, so the guest would then also we've actually recorded one of our practice episodes was with a guest. So how that worked was the guest brought in an album that they really loved. It didn't have to have anything to do with their own connection to music. So yeah, we all listened to that album. Isa, you and I also recommended an album and the guest listened to that as well. And then we discussed both of those albums together, kind of in the same format that we do in our one-on-ones. And yeah, then we talk honestly about it. We get a little bit of history of their background, how they got into it, why we thought it'd be a good idea to have them on the podcast, and then we talk about the albums. So yeah, what kind of community do you hope that this becomes, and maybe what kind of guests would you love to see?
Yeah, good question. We are right at the beginning as we're recording this video right now, and we could say it's a good practice to bring this out to you as a community. And we hope to reach out to people who love albums as we do and really
Hmm.
appreciate this format. And if you're tired of playlists, we hope we could get you a good recommendation with our deeper listenings. And yeah, especially I want to reach out to people who feel music because I think music is such a big topic in both of our daily life. We
Hmm.
are just messaging all day about
Yeah.
news and stuff and shows are coming up. And
Hmm.
yeah, we want to create a great music addict community.
We like to hear different
Yeah,
opinions and not just the same things that we like. So
sure.
anyone's
I'm
welcome.
always I also looking forward to an episode where we can announce that everyone who's commenting an album below,
Mm,
we can pick one and listen to.
yeah, that'd be so cool.
This is the way we get inspired the most, I guess, because
Hmm.
also like the guest spots, they are bringing new tunes in it, and
Totally.
I don't feel so connected to Spotify to get. Yeah, of course, I get good recommendations there, but it feels different when it's from a person itself,
Absolutely.
and to hear what's the story behind it.
I think Spotify recommends things that it expects you're going to like because it's based on what you already listen to. Whereas if you're having a recommendation from someone outside, it can be anything, and it could be something that you absolutely would never stumble upon. Like, when we did our guest episode, that album I would have never found in a million years, and yet there's some really great songs on it that I'm still
Yeah,
listening to, a year and a half later. So, I think absolutely be really cool to have some outside perspective.
yeah, for sure, and also to connect to each other. I
Mhm.
think every time in the rest of my life I see Modest Mouse somewhere, I will
Yeah.
always think of you, and
And
this
if I
is a
see
good
Erasmus,
connection.
I'm thinking of you.
So if Spotify shuffled in Modest Mouse songs, I would not have this personal and emotional connection to it, and I think
You would
that's
just
the
skip.
difference. Yeah, I would skip. No, 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 I wouldn't skip. So I think this is the difference we make with this format, with our podcast project here. And yeah, you asked me who would my favorite guest be, and I think
Justin
it could be.
Hawkins.
Oh, this is a great choice. Yeah, I thought about him to have him here, but I think we should get a little bit lower. I
Mm,
think my favorite person to have here as a guest would be my dad, actually.
that's so
Um,
sweet.
yeah, because he's from a generation who appreciate albums, especially vinyls, a lot, and
Mhm,
it's a different perspective. He's not leaning to Spotify or other
mhm,
streaming services. So, yeah, to have a guest which is reachable, it would be my dad. But sky's the limit. Justin
mhm.
Hawkins, you're very
Well,
welcome.
you're very welcome. Yes. Great.
Yeah, and if you think of this project this time next year, what would make you happy in a year, Anderson, with this format?
What is our goal? Honestly, just that we're still doing it, that, you and I are still connecting over this shared passion. And yeah, maybe that we found some cool music. Maybe we have some cool new songs in our individual rotations. Maybe we found some new bands and gone to concerts together from it. And maybe that no one cyberbullied us. That would also be a good goal to have. Yeah. Just that we're still enjoying doing it, and yeah, that we're still feeling inspired by it.
Yeah, that's a great goal for in a year to
What
stay
about you?
connected. Yeah, I'm agreeing. So
Hmm.
I would say the same. I just want to take it as a hobby and having fun with it, not pushing it somewhere, but I would be very proud if we at least grew a little community
Hmm.
to interact more, because now it's just like we're uploading stuff and talking. But
Only
I
One
think
Direction fans are commenting. But hey,
so
it's
it's
awesome that someone's commenting. That's really cool that
yeah.
someone listens.
And I'm really looking forward to this point where people interact with us and see
Mhm,
the content we upload. And yeah, it doesn't have to be many people, but at least some people who
mhm.
sticking to it and getting back to this format to get new inspiration. Yeah, that would be great.
Very cool. So, okay, well, then I think that's kind of a good introduction to what this podcast is. And if you've listened up to this point, I hope you're interested and I hope you're ready to hear some episodes.